For, I understand, it's a head coach?
Head coach, high school.
Right. Oh, okay.
St. Benedict's Prep. Not sure what year, but I beat that guy when he was in Rice High School. So he played Kemba's senior year. I had Tristan Thompson, Smarto Samuels. So I didn't exactly have a weak team. I think we were both top 5 in the country, and we beat them in a close game. So Kemba was on that team. Actually, Kamani Young was an assistant at Rice. So my last time there as a head coach, I was able to get an all-timer here, and I beat Kamani, so it went well for me.
What was the crowd?
It was a good crowd. That was a big Nike event that they ran for years there, Nike Super 6, and it was a great thrill, especially as the high school coach.
So what do you think it'll be like coaching the first UConn Syracuse game there?
It'll be fun. It's an exciting thing to be a part of. So many, obviously, great, Big East memories there. But the UConn, Syracuse rivalry, playing at the Garden, the multiple overtime. I mean, just all the great games played there, the great players. Just to be a part of that is a pretty cool thing. Not lost on me.
You know from some of your experiences, the highs and lows as a player, what the Garden can mean to a kid from Jersey, a kid from New York, Connecticut. Can you put too much pressure on yourself in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think as coaches, like for me, just from a coaching standpoint, I'll take it. Like when we pull up to the Garden on the bus, it'll be pretty cool, like going into a shoot around, hey, you're looking around, maybe for 60 seconds and say, wow, this is pretty cool. Maybe during the anthem, you look around for 15 seconds and say, wow, this is pretty cool. But like, we're just so focused right now on just trying to get better, trying to improve in so many different aspects of the team, the program, that you really don't have time as a coach right now to put a whole lot of pressure on yourself. I would say from a player standpoint, I can sense an urgency, especially with the older guys, that that they really want to be ready to play and really locked in on trying to get these younger guys to understand the intensity level that the game's going to be played at on Thursday.
There's just some lapses in some of the other games, maybe not finishing them off when they could have. Like this is such a big game that maybe they'll be able to kind of maintain it, or hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're playing a team that was a game away from the Final Four and returned like the whole team. So we can't afford many lulls in this game. If we have, a bad, we call them wars. We have a bad 4-minute segment in between media timeout to media timeout. We call them wars. If we have a lull in a war or two, it'll get bad for us out there. We got to be locked in for 40 minutes if we want to have, if we want to have a chance late in the game.
So what about attacking the zone for Syracuse? Obviously, that's your bread and butter.
Yeah, it's just, we're not, a couple things with that. We obviously haven't seen any zone, and we don't play much zone. So, and then overall, just relative to our personnel in the 3-day prep that we have, it's hard to simulate. It's kind of hard to simulate what their zone's going to look like. So we're doing kind of the best we can, making kind of the second team as big as we can, and try to give our first group as good a look as they're going to see on Thursday. So, but this early in the season, to see a zone of that caliber is a heck of a challenge.
Even without their point guard, do you prepare for them with Howard or without, or both, I guess?
Yeah, I think so, and I don't think our game plan is going to change much. We've got to really get after them, especially in the backcourt. We've got to really pressure them and make them exert a lot of energy. And then once the ball gets into that scoring area, we've still got to figure out which guys we want to pressure, which guys we want to help off of. But we've got to try to kind of weaken their zone by getting into their legs at the offensive end with our pressure. And I think that's a big part of the game. Like, playing against their zone is probably 30 to 35% of what the game is. There's a whole other, there's rebounding, there's getting stops and getting out in transition. So sometimes in the lead up in the prep, you just get stuck so much on how are we going to score against the zone, how are we going to score against the zone. There's other things that we've got to do well so that it just doesn't come down to just that one aspect of it. Because the last couple of high-level teams, not named Duke, that played against the zone, like, weren't that effective against it. Michigan State, TCU, Arizona State.
What about Isaiah? Where's he kind of stand? Is he going to be available and ready to go?
Yeah, so he was able to do some things live today, so it looks like he'll be available. Kasum looked better, so that was good there. So, you know, we're definitely, Terran was healthier, so hopefully his minutes restriction is off there too.
They lull their first two opponents into a ton of three-point attempts. Is that something you want to stay away from? Is that something the zone makes you do?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're going to have to make threes. We don't have, I don't think we necessarily have like a dominant big that we're going to be able to go high-low to consistently. Yeah, so like we're going to have to make threes, but we just don't want to be kind of playing like offense around that three-point line. We're going to have to gap the zone with the dribble. Our guards, you know, kind of the strength of their zone is their length and size, but we're just hoping our small guards can find those cracks with the dribble, land in the paint, spray the ball around a little bit. So we still want to shoot inside-out threes. We just don't want to shoot ball reversal, 6 on the shot clock, jack up a 3. So we're going to have to find a balance, getting into the high post, getting into the short corner, gap in the zone. We're going to have to find balance, but we're going to have to make threes against the zone.
Is rebounding and physicality the biggest area where you guys need to step up from last 2 games to this one?
Yeah, that's probably the scariest thing for me is like at their end when the shot goes up, it's like game on. You know, they're 3 through 5 go and get that ball off the glass like grown-ups. And we've got to, the Josh Carltons, the Tylers, the Isaiahs, they got to be up to that task. It's going to be a grown man game when the ball goes up. That's where I think, you may see maybe a little bit more Eric, a little bit more Kasum, their maturity, their physicality, but we also too, we're going to need Tyler shooting, and we're going to need to see, obviously going to need contributions from Josh as well.
Dan, you've done the Garden thing enough in your life. You played there. Did you ever get old walking into the Garden and playing in the Garden? What did you feel like when you walked in?
No, never old. Yeah, that's like you dream of playing there. As a kid, you dream of playing there. You obviously dream of coaching there too as you get later in life. But there's no experience like pulling up on the bus. New York, in a city like that with an arena just smack in the middle of it, and then just the history, the banner, and just getting on the elevator, the whole thing is like never old, ever.
Do you embrace it like this early in the season? It gives you a chance to kind of see where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get it early on.
I think as coaches, I think we have a pretty good idea of where we are. I don't think that I think we'll see how maybe certain guys will respond, how we'll handle zone. But I think we have a pretty good idea of who we are at this point. We're a team that's had some real good moments the first 2 games. We're working hard to get better in a number of areas. And we're excited to get an opportunity to play in hopefully an exciting game on Thursday night, and that we're able to show up and compete at a high level, give ourselves a chance in the second half to have a chance to maybe hang around and steal it.
Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead, no, sorry.
So what do you think Al Tariq can do the full season? I mean, he came in with a lot of accolades here and never has had a chance to show what he can do.
Yeah.
You're impressed with him. What do you think
I think Al's going to be fantastic. I think, I wish, do I wish that we were playing a pressing, trapping, up-tempo team in his first kind of national game, to kind of play against one of the slowest paced offensive teams in the country in a 2-3 zone game doesn't exactly fit perfectly into maybe a coming out play style game for him as a 6-foot dynamo. But I think it's still for Al. He's healthy. He's going to have a great season. He's just going to keep getting better and better as we go. And I know he's just thrilled to get out on the court. play in one of these games because he hasn't had a chance to play in many of these types of games.
The back-to-back games, you like it's a good the format, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to be much of an issue for us because like the one thing that we do have is we're pretty deep. We'll be able to trot out 10, maybe even 11 guys in these 2 games. So like the back-to-back thing is probably more of how we'll handle the prep in the second game as opposed to us not having a lot of legs. But again, we will exert ourselves because we are going to we're going to get up the court on makes and on dead ball situations, and we're going to contest everything.
How much cardio do you have to do to be in game shape on the sideline? Watching you, man, I'm wiped out.
Listen, I mean, I can still grab the rim. When we talk, I can still get rim almost with 2 hands now and hang. I try to work 6 days a week. I guess shout out to the Peloton bike, great thing right there, the treadmill. And then Coach Sal has whipped me into shape because I'm going to need it this year.
Talk about how that transfers the energy. I thought the play where you went Big Josh up that first game, I mean, we haven't seen anything like that before. I mean,
yeah, well, a lot of people haven't, and a lot of opposing arenas are going to get some show this year. It's not, I think when you're first starting out and trying to build something, a mindset, a toughness, a mentality, that's how you have to coach. That's how you have to coach your first year or 2 when you're not quite as well-rounded in terms of having everything you need as a team. Like we're obviously not at that point yet, so like I'm gonna have to will these guys through certain games. I'm gonna have to coach every possession like it's the end of the world. And then obviously once we become a more well-rounded, better team with an overall better everything, now you're not going to quite see that maniacal sideline stalker. You will see it at times when I need it, but you're not going to see it possession in and possession out. But this is what it is the first year or 2 when you're taking over, a team that hasn't won. You have to kind of drive them and push them and energize them and put a battery in their back.
Do you have that on your business card, maniacal sideline stalker? Is that
No, I just threw that together right there.
well done.
I'm going to change my Twitter handle, and do that. I think that may be good.
creative?
Yeah, it's good.
4th straight year you've played Syracuse. Would you like to see it if possible? It might not be possible. But try to continue to play them or other Big East rivals every year.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
Yeah.
We're trying to get as many of those home and homes, involved in the Garden. Me and Tom are working on that right now to finish up next year's schedule. Obviously, when we got here for this year, everything was done. But yeah, all the people that our fans are excited about renewing those rivalries with. If we don't play the series, it's not because we didn't want it. We're on the phone constantly with all of our former Big East friends trying to get those games back. So send your emails to the athletic directors of those said schools or those head coaches because we're trying to get them as many as we can.
Are you finding